Alright, budget magic time. We are playing 8 rack in Modern this week. Oh, and this hand's like the nuts. Jeez. Double Shrieking Affliction into Wrenchmind? Well, I think we just lead on Raven's Crime. So Raven's Crime makes your opponent discard, and then we can discard a land to play it from our graveyard. Pretty sweet. Retrace is a cool ability. Spoils of the Vault. Oh, I think we're up against a combo deck. This is probably either Ad Nauseam. Yeah, it looks like, well, maybe not. It could be like Suicide Zoo, or it's like the Ad Nauseam combo deck. Our discard will hopefully be good here. We'll have to see. Sometimes they do have Pendant Prism as an artifact, which would make Wrench Mine a little worse. Another Swamp. Well, I think we still just go with Wrench Mine and hope that they don't hit an artifact. Or don't have an artifact to discard. Because Wrench Mine, they only have to discard one if they can discard an artifact. If they don't have an artifact, then they have to discard two. And then we might get in a position where Blackmail is like literal Thoughtseize, or even better because we can make them discard lands. They do have the Pendant Prison, so they discard that. Next turn we can do like, Flashback Raven's Crime Blackmail, something along those lines. Victim of Night isn't going to be great here. So I think we flashback Raven's Crime, discarding the Swamp. They're going to be able to hide one card from their hand when we blackmail here. This seems like a really good matchup. Combo decks do not want to run into the all discard deck. And then blackmail. Double Gemstone Mine, Phyrexian Unlife. We'll take Phyrexian Unlife. So our opponent has 2 Gemstone Mines and 1 unknown card. Temple of Deceit. So that's either the unknown or they just drew that. Well, we'd love to draw more discard. Well, I guess we can Smallpox. Technically that's discard. It does cost us a land, which kinda is bad. But they're going to have a hard time comboing off with limited resources, and we can discard this Victim of Night for free. So they're down to 2 cards. One is a Gemstone Mine. That's what we know. There's the Gemstone Mine, so they have 2 unknowns. Alright, land means I think we just want to get them empty-handed more than playing Shrieking Affliction. Is that right? Or do we just double Shrieking Affliction? They only have 3 mana. Next turn, everything we draw would be good except for... well, not everything. I think we gotta play the land here. Let's just land, Shrieking Affliction. This is gonna make our opponent start losing life. And then hopefully we draw more discard. The only thing we don't want to draw now is really removal spells. Creature removal is the one real blank in our deck. Just hard cast the Simian Spirit Guide. Well, now creature removal isn't a complete blank. There's a Swamp. Alright, so we will Raven's Crime here. Make our opponent discard a card. So we got him down to 1 or fewer cards, which will trigger both of our Shrieking Afflictions and deal our opponent 6 damage. So any discard here is awesome. Our opponent's basically going to have to hold cards in their hand to not die to Shrieking Affliction. And any land is also discard because we have Raven's Crime. Yep, that works. So we'll Raven's Crime, pitching the Swamp. Raven's Crime is a really key card to the deck, to be able to turn these, what would be useless lands, into discard and then into damage. So really, we are 1 land or discard away from winning, basically. And I don't think our opponent can win with 1 land, or with 1 card in hand. So So they're going to ping away with their Spirit Guide. Not that it's really going to matter. Hopefully. And that's a land. Sweet. We got there. Get to, again, retrace Raven's Crime. And that'll do 6 to our opponent on their upkeep. Well, that went incredibly well. Seems like a really, really good matchup. So against this deck, we have some sweet stuff we can bring in, too. Because we can get rid of all our creature removal. Casting Simian Spirit Guide is not really the plan A for their deck. So we can get rid of that, get rid of the Victim of Nights, and just really overload also the Smother on removal and maybe Nile Spellbomb. Possibly. But we definitely want more Stupors. Probably want some Dismembers, or not Dismembers, Duresses. Since they're all non-creature spells, basically. And then bring in a Nile Spellbomb. Do we want another Nile Spellbomb? I guess we can go down one Wrench Mine. Just because they do have artifacts to discard. Alright, game 2. Let's see if we can start off this budget magic on a good note. So we don't have anything to deal damage, but we are going to be able to tear our opponent's hand apart, and they are mulliganing. So, feeling pretty good about this. They're at 6 on the play, and you don't want to mulligan against our deck. I think the plan is going to be to Duress on turn 1 to try to make sure they don't have an artifact in their hand, and then use that to turn on our Wrench Mine. So, Duress, looking for an artifact, but we'll take whatever. There's a Pendant Prism, so we will take Pendant Prism. So our Wrench Mine next turn will be 2 cards. Circumvision. I guess they could randomly just draw into a Pendant Prism or another Lotus Bloom. They had a draw step and a Circumvision's draw, so it's not impossible. No. Another Sleight of Hand. Interesting. So maybe we don't even... Maybe we just blackmail, see what our opponent's got going on, get to see all 3 of their cards. So this Wrench Mine might actually end up being dead. Oh, we could have done it too. They didn't have a artifact. Well, I think we're going to take their land, and then we can Raven's Crime, I guess, to discard one of the other 2 cards. And our opponent scoops it up. Woohoo! Alright, good first match for 8-Rack. Not gonna complain about that.